Welcome to the Watering Hole. We're sitting down here with Rhett and Jagger. We're sitting down with Mr. David Adam Byrnes. How you doing today, sir?
Good, man. How you doing, brother?
I think you're going to start us off with a song right here.
I guess so. Let's. I was scrambling thinking what to play first. That's what came to mind. So
Perfect.
Let's roll with it.
That's what we like.
Hot little mess, her heart is wild as the west. Those boots were just born to run. Shoots from the hip, got a fast trigger lip, and she'll tear you up just for fun. Restless as the wind, you can't fence that in, but if you can keep up with a cowgirl, she's gonna take you on a hell of a ride. If you can keep up with a cowgirl, you're gonna wanna hold on for dear life. Like a neon town when the sun goes down, she's gonna keep you up all night. Might put a little wild in your world if you can keep up with a cowgirl. Tough as they come, it's always been in her blood, like the Rio running through her veins. If you're lucky enough, she'll give you her love before she up and rides away. Got a heart of gold, and it's yours to hold if you can keep up with a cowgirl. She's gonna take you on a hell of a ride. If you can keep up with a cowgirl, you're gonna wanna hold on for dear life. Like a neon town when the sun goes down, she's gonna keep you up all night. Might put a little wild in your world if you can keep up with a cowgirl. I can tell you firsthand, it's worth it if you can keep up with a cowgirl. She's gonna take you on a hell of a ride. If you can keep up with a cowgirl, you're gonna wanna hold on for dear life. Like a neon town when the sun goes down, she's gonna keep you up all night. Might put a little wild in your world if you can keep up with a cowgirl.
Fantastic. That was awesome.
That was awesome. Appreciate it, fellas.
You have such a great, old country. I don't mean to say old, but you know what I'm saying. A classic country sound.
Well, as I call it, just country way it was supposed to sound. But
yeah.
I appreciate that. I hear it all the time. And, I'm not one of them that grew up listening to every genre. I grew up listening to the country. And so that's what I like, and that's what I want to sound like. And so I'll take that as a compliment every time I hear it, man.
I'm a huge fan of 80s and 90s country, so that to me, that's spot on. That's country.
That's the era that made me, man.
What do you think your biggest influence has been so far?
Well, George Strait's the main one. I'm 3 years old. Mom and Dad took me to see him, and I don't know why. From that day on, I was like, I want to be that guy. I always tell people if they wore a cowboy hat in the 90s, yes. But when I was in high school and country kind of started really pushing towards that pop thing, that's when I really started diving back. And I know Keith Whitley's still kind of that era, but I really dove into Keith, and then I wanted to know who made him and Chestnut and Tracy and George and all them. That's when I went back to the, Haggard and Jones, that generation. And I traced it all the way back to Lefty Frizzell and Webb Pierce. I got that far and went, okay, I think we've gone far enough.
Yeah.
But I just, I've always wanted to be a historian and just kind of know where my love came from, you know.
That's a name we never hear, Webb Pierce, on the show.
Yeah.
I love Webb Pierce.
Or
Well,
even Lefty Frizzell
yeah.
too.
Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you, main thing with it, you know, if you remember that CMT George Strait concert live from Tampa, he did "There Stands the Glass," and I didn't realize that wasn't a George song. I
Yeah.
thought it was his, and I realized it was Webb. I was like, well, let me hear this thing. And so,
Yeah.
and Daryl, you know, Singletary was
Yeah.
a good buddy of mine. He used to do that song. So that's
Really,
that's
you,
kind of
you guys were friends?
So Daryl's actually kind of what helped me get back on track. You know, I spent that 11 years in Nashville, and kind of in the midst of that first record deal, and at the end of it, you know, that's all I heard was, get rid of the cowboy hat, quit doing traditional, take off the Wranglers. And so I got to a point where I didn't recognize who I was looking at in the mirror. And I ran into Daryl one day and had this long hair and
Yeah.
everything I described. And I mean, he just, what are you doing, boy? You know?
So let's take a step back here. Let's go into it. So like, give us. We'll start from the bottom and we'll work our way up.
Yeah.
So like, where did you grow up? Like, what were your like early like family musical influence, if you had any? And like,
Yeah.
how did you get into playing music?
Yeah, so I grew up in Sherwood, Arkansas, which 99% of y'all aren't going to know where that is. So just north of Little Rock. But yeah, you know, my dad, we always had country on, you know, as far back as I remember. It was the radio with Bob Robbins every single morning. You know, I remember we'd do something on Sunday and we'd have the countdown on, whether it was being at the lake or driving around in the, you know, not lake season or something, but it's just, country music was just always on. And, you know, add in 3 years old with that George Strait concert, that kind of topped it off. I mean, once again, I still don't know how I remember 3, 4, and 5 years old, but, you know, before I went to kindergarten, I mean, it was radio till Dad went to work. Dad went to work. I turned on TNN. Most kids are watching Barney and Big Bird, and I'm watching country music videos. But my dad, you know, he got a guitar and he kind of played. But I mean, nobody in my family were to this level of trying to be a musician or even think about doing anything with it. But he had a little group from his work called the Pioneers that went to nursing homes. And so when I was 5, we started going every Monday night, and that's kind of where I really, you know, I'd like to say I started in church or this. No, I started in nursing homes, man.
That's cool. You kind of, that's where you played some nursing home gigs.
I've played music with my grandpa and some of his buddies and stuff. And we played like senior centers and nursing homes and things like that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's, you know, it's funny, when I graduated high school, there was one of them that was a, you know, senior center more than it was in a nursing home.
Yeah.
They all pieced together and like got me a big old present for my graduation.
That's
stuff.
cool.
So I mean,
That's
it's cool how it kind of came full circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, it started there, and then, you know, obviously school talent shows, and then, you know, my parents never pushed it on me. I had to beg and beg and beg for it. So from there, you know, they kind of let me start going and doing some of the different little talent organizations that would put on little events and stuff when I was a kid. But, you know, I finally got in high school and put that first band together, and that's kind of where this thing started kicking into gear, was from there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you get into high school and you put together a band. What was your first actual like outside of a nursing home gig, and like when you started really getting into?
We had a
doing
joke
gigs?
about getting T-shirts called the Backyard Tour, because we kept getting hired at all of our buddies' parents' house for backyard parties that summer. But you know, we started finally getting into a couple of the little, you know, bars and clubs there in our, you know, hometown and around. And, you know, that band there lasted, I guess, a little bit into the next school year, and then we decided to part ways, and I started another band. And that's when I really started diving into the, you know, the VFWs and just every little bar that would let underage 16, 17-year-old kids come in and play. And then it led to, in that new band, there's a couple of brothers that came and played for me, and they worked at the Mexican restaurant in my hometown. And so they did music there on Saturday nights, and so we went on one Saturday, and Chewy and the Dudes, that was the name of the band there. They let us get up and do a couple of songs in their sets. And so Jerry, the owner, we got talking to him, and like, man, would you let us come do a show of our own? So we talked him into letting us come on Tuesday night. Well, there was, of course, this big rivalry with that former band of mine and this. So, like, my entire school filled up the place.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like line wrapped around the building wanting to see what this new band I put in there was. So, because of that one instance, that one night, we started playing there every single Tuesday.
Really?
And so, I mean, I look back at, I mean, I played somewhere Tuesday. A lot of times played Thursdays. We were somewhere Friday and Saturdays. And I remember I'd throw my pads off on Friday night, and we'd go haul it to wherever it was I was playing. You know?
That's
But
cool. Yeah.
I never had to have a high school job, man. In fact, I was making more money probably back then. I didn't have no overhead. But, yeah, it all led there. And really, man, that gig at Casa Mexicana is kind of where there was a lady that had ties to Nashville, and she started bringing people out to see me. And next thing you know,
That's
this
cool.
word started getting around, and Next thing you know, I'm still in high school and I'm making trips to Nashville to meet people through this, and it just kind of, I don't know, dominoed from there, I guess.
I want to go back to Daryl Singletary really quick because I'm a huge fan. That's a name that never gets brought up either. The album he did that was like all covers where he had some of the artists on, I love that album.
Yeah, well, he did 2 of them, Straight from the Heart and, what was the other one called? But that's where, it was funny because, when I moved to Nashville, I'm 19 years old. And I know all these old classic country songs, but the reality is I knew 90s country, and I knew all the stuff that Daryl recorded on those 2 records.
Yeah.
And so, I even like playing the bars and stuff, people come up, play Merle Haggard, and I'm like, well, I'm 16, I don't know any. Well, you need to learn something if you're going to play in here. So I started learning, and so I don't know. Like I said, I could have rebelled against it, but I started learning all that stuff. But, man,
so you went to Nashville at 19, right? What year did you go to Nashville? And you say you got a record deal? Can you go into that?
So I moved. I made my parents happy, and I tried college. That lasted a half of a semester. And so,
what were you going for?
I was a music major.
Okay.
Which got there and realized I was like, I don't think this makes much sense for country music, does it?
Yeah.
It was just a little school. Arkansas State is a tiny school.
Yeah.
This is Arkansas State at BB. And that's all you need to know. But ironically, most of my band at that point was from there, so I just got to where I was like, I'm not even going to class. We're just going to go work on the set.
Yeah.
But man. So I finally, I'd been going back and forth, and it's just so funny in my life how things have just kind of dominoed into a place. Because the woman that I talked about took me there. She would take me to this duplex. Well, the guy that owned it was originally the fourth member of Rascal Flatts.
Oh, really?
And so I got to know him, and I can't remember. I guess I moved in February of 07, so this was December of 06. And he called me up and he goes, you've been making trips up here. I think it's time you just need to make the plunge and move. And right when he did, Rascal Flatts came on the TV, and I was just like, all right, that's my sign, But so I packed up, I moved there, and like I said, I'm underage. I can't really go anywhere or do anything anyway. So Preston takes me over to this house the first night I'm there. I'll never forget it. And I moved to town with this song called When I Get There. That was just about packing up, moving to Nashville, and giving it everything you got till you get there. And he just thought it was a great song, and so he sits me in this room and says, play that song for these people. And I don't even know who I'm with. I don't know who they are. I don't know anything about them. Then after that, he goes, all right, well, fellas, why don't y'all go play some songs y'all wrote? Well, I'm in the room with all these hit songwriters that wrote Can't Break It to My Heart for Tracy Lawrence, good country boys and girls getting down on the farm,
Wow.
And so it's just this cool bonding moment. But the whole time within that, there was a bar that I'd been going to back, during these trips called the Fiddle and Steel Guitar Bar. It's the only place that would let me in. So got town, I just would go there every single night, and it all kind of started from there. And even my first record deal, it all kind of just came from there. That's where I built, Jay Brunswick I met, who I'm still writing all these songs with today. We wrote She Only Wanted Flowers. I mean, it's just been crazy watching it all kind of grow. But yeah, I got to town, and man, it moved quick. I got to where I was playing somewhere in town, Broadway, Printer's Alley, something about 7 nights a week, or even if I was playing just acoustic or something for somebody. But I'll never forget, it was Labor Day weekend, that I guess it would have been 07, and we were all at this pool party, and of course I'm the 19-year-old that can't drink, and the guy that was supposed to have the 6 to 10 shift, was like, man, I'm hammered, I don't even feel like doing this, man. You already know everything the band wants to play. You want to go cover my shift today? So I go in there, and a guy named Rob Rappaport just happened to be walking by and heard me singing, stopped in, and he was starting a brand new label and publishing company called Better Angels. And once again, God's timing, man. I'd set the band down and was playing just some songs that me and Jay had written right when he walked by. So I see this guy go over to Jay. Next thing you know, it's a week later, we're on a plane flying out to L.A. Next thing you know, we're in the studio. Next thing you know, I got a contract in front of me. And I mean, it just happened fast,
Really?
man.
Yeah.
So you sign contract, get on the label. Where does it go from there, and when does it start to turn into maybe this isn't where I want to be?
So we sat there for a while. I mean, it's funny looking back. I was so mad and angry. I'm like, why are you shelving me? You're just sitting on me. You're just sitting on me. But dude, I was so young. I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I was the kind that would walk into a radio. What do you think about Taylor Swift? That ain't country. I would just spout off and say all the things that a young artist is not supposed to politically say, But the good thing about it was me signing that deal made hit writers give me a chance to get in the room with them. Because, I mean, I wasn't I mean, for where I was in life, I was actually a good writer. Like, I had the ideas and the diamond in the rough was there, but I wasn't ready to be in the room with those guys. But luckily, I was a sponge, man, and so I learned the craft of songwriting really in that second year. For year one playing downtown, I learned how to be a real musician with the best in the world. That year two was just learning to be a songwriter, and then so I don't know, somewhere in there, the whole Josh Thompson, we got, I became friends with him and got him signed over there with us, and I'm going to record a song of his as my first single, but then the single's never coming out, and then Josh gets the record deal, all the attention goes away, and so, it's kind of like being the important one and watching yourself not be. So, I mean, it was a good chance for me to grow up and just understand how life works, because at that point, everything just gone my way. And they finally decide they're going to throw a single out, and man, you think you hear a radio tour and what it's going to be like, and I mean, you leave on Sunday night, and then you fly out Friday to wherever you're playing, and then you get back Sunday morning, and you do your laundry, and you fly back out again Sunday night, and so that was the first time I really got to see the whole country, but it was cool because you watch this rise and kind of go, and I mean, we got all the way to 62 on Billboard, but that's when you start learning the business side of things and how there's a lot of stuff when you're at a label that's not even in your control. And as quickly as it went up, the label starts running out of money, label collapses. I've changed this image and done all this stuff to make them happy, and right as that happens, I've got a buddy of mine that to this day is a hit songwriter, but he saw the bro country wave coming, and they start pushing me, man, if you're going to be successful, you got to do it. Here's where it's going. That traditional stuff of yours ain't going to work. And so we kind of started writing that stuff. I kind of equate the music we were doing kind of where Joe Nichols did. It was the thought process of put steel, put fiddle, but make it poppy sounding, but your voice on it's going to make it a country song, which of course to me, I was like, no, it's sounding country. It's going to make it a country song. I don't know. I can't remember in the midst of that, but when that label folded, there was a bunch of shady stuff in the business side and contracts and language and people that got pieces of the pie of me I didn't even know about. And so long story short, the company that inherited the publishing side got me for free, but didn't want to pay or do anything. So I'm basically just once again sitting on the shelf. I can't go anywhere. I can't sign anywhere. And I was just stuck. But it was the biggest blessing in disguise, because that's when, I don't know, Nashville, just you got two mindsets. You've got to sit around town and wait to be famous, or you got to be a dog and go out and go get it and go just tour, make fans. And it forced me to do the whole just getting on the road. And so locally, man, I had a buddy that managed guys like Jamie Johnson and Brian Davis and Ray Scott and all them that just, they'd start throwing me on the bus with guys. And I'd go sell merch and just shadow while they tour managed. And if I got to get up and sing a couple of songs, cool. If I didn't get to sing at all, then I watched. Maybe I got to get and do a 30-minute set, but that's just where I really started learning the road. And being out there more and more, I started doing more of the music I wanted to do rather than what I was told to do. And every night somebody'd come up and just, thank God, man, you're doing country music. There ain't no country music left. And so, I don't know, somewhere in there that led to doing the NFR, and I step on stage and there's a sea of cowboy hats and people that are two-stepping and doing all the stuff that Nashville says does not exist. And I'm like, I think it might be time to rethink this thing.
I was talking to somebody earlier today, and they asked about your sound, like how I would describe it, and I said, it kind of reminds me of Joe Nichols before he went pop, or sort of modern, and that's a compliment because I love Joe.
Oh, Joe's and he's a friend, man. I mean, he was a huge influence.
He's from Arkansas too.
That's where we got like me, him, Justin Moore. We all kind of got that. Which we ain't had much to cheer about with this Razorbacks right now, but we we all got that Arkansas tie to where we kind of have a bond there. But yeah, Joe's one of my favorite people, man. I mean, musically, I just love him to death. And even there was one record I feel like he kind of steered away, but outside of that, man, I thought he's done great stuff. But I mean, absolutely. I mean that. To me, he was kind of that reincarnation of Whitley meets Haggard, and just I don't know that true country sound versus like the Texas George Strait, which really is what I started on.
I think he's one of the most underrated artists of all time. I mean, some of those early albums, the songs, they're like,
well, that was the thing with the songs are great, but just his voice, man. I mean, he's got one of the best country voices. I once again, I don't mean to offense anybody, but I don't want to hear some whiny sounding dude that sounds like he should be on a pop station singing country. I want somebody that sounds like Joe Nichols singing country.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Have you seen that meme going around? It's like what country music sounds like to people that don't like country music, and it's like it's a loop of Luke Bryan saying like beer truck, beer truck.
Yeah.
you know, though, Luke was country as could be. I mean, he found a niche and he ran with it. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, he kind of did the same thing. He saw the bro country thing and ran with it. Because, I mean, if you go back and listen to Luke's first record,
We
was-
rode in trucks.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That was one of my, I mean, dude, I threw down to that sucker, you know? But
Yeah.
it's, you know, you just got to find your lane and you run with it. And that's over the years I had to realize, you know, I ain't got to listen to something if I don't like it. And I ain't got to record something if I don't like it.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing about this independent side of things. Because, you know, even that first record that I did with that record deal, it was funny. It was like a 50-50 record. Half of it was stuff I wanted. Half of it was what they told me I needed to record.
Yeah.
And it's like, next thing you know, you got a 14 song. My joke was my debut album's a box set.
like Garth Brooks. Have you seen the? Okay, I'm sorry. Have you seen the Garth Brooks thing, the Bass Pro?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, yeah, I have seen that.
Like his new album's coming out, but it's only at Bass Pro, and
Yeah.
you can only buy it in the 4 CD box set.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we all still have CD players
Yeah,
to put
exactly.
it into. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess whatever works. I
Yeah.
guess whatever works.
If you don't mind, want to play us another song here?
Well, you got any requests, or is it just the throw it out there hour?
Can you give us I can give you one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that one.
Here we go. If you want a little house upon a hill, garden growing in the sun, puppy running all around a big old field, baby, I can give you one. If you want anything, you can just relax, place where you can come undone. If you need a shoulder run bubble bath, baby, I can give you one. You want a kiss, if you want a ring, you want a life that fits your dreams. If you want a man, your search is done, 'cause baby, I can give you one. If you wanna take a trip you can't forget, ride back to the town you're from, raising big enough to hug your mama's neck, well then baby, I can give you one. You want a kiss, if you want a ring, you want a life that fits your dreams. If you want a man, your search is done, 'cause baby, I can give you one. You want a man, your search is done, 'cause baby, I can give you one. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Another great
Love
one.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, another great one right there.
Our second single out here in Texas.
So, what are you doing when you're not out on the road playing music?
You know what's funny? That story has changed a lot here in the last couple of years because people go, "What'd you do outside of music?" Music. But you know, I just got married back in October, and we got.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. We got a little 11-acre ranch back in the spring, so usually if I'm not on the road, I am writing or trying to pretend I'm doing business, because if not, she's gonna have me out there doing something working on that place. But I just trying to get, you know. I do remember back on those radio tours, you know, they'd all the time, like I said, you know, what's your hobbies? What do you do? And I mean, you know, I was a huge sports guy, that kind of thing. I love going to the lake, love trying to hunt when I can. But the reality is I just didn't have a life outside of music at all. And so I've had to really try to learn how to balance life
Yeah.
and music and put it to the side, but it's still pretty tough. I mean, this thing runs your life 24/7. So,
You play golf at all?
you know, I've played 3 times in my life, and the third time was here back. I got asked to do the John Daly Major Ed tournament thing back in Nashville here this summer, and
Casual flicks.
Yeah,
I
for
wasn't.
real.
Yeah, well, it's still pretty cool, but ironically, I didn't know what I'd be like 'cause I hadn't golfed in years, and I wasn't that bad. I mean, I wasn't that good, but I wasn't as bad as I thought I'd be.
Did you meet John Daly?
Oh yeah, we man, there's video. In fact, I was just texting him last week. I went to Nashville.
Another casual
Another
flex.
casual flick.
Oh, he's funny. I was like, man, I'm coming to Nashville. You in town? He goes, hell no, I'm in Florida. He goes, I hate cold weather. I'll be back there next year. But no, it's funny that that weekend that we finally met. You know, we next thing you know, we're at Losers back singing there on the mic, singing Unwound together. And stuff. So
no.
but once again, Arkansas ties.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
We do the series on our channel called 9 Holes and 6 Strings.
Yeah.
So we go play golf with an artist.
Yeah.
And then they do like an acoustic song afterwards. And I've always thought John Daly would be like the perfect
Oh,
person
he's-
for 9 Holes and 6 Strings.
Oh, dude, he loved that. The guy loves music. It's so funny because like I said, I was only around in them couple of days, but we still text a lot and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of them instant bonds.
Yeah.
But he sits there drinking them good boys. You know that John
Good
Daly
vodka.
drink,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he wants anybody and everybody to have a guitar around and.
Yeah.
Just sit there and jam out, and you might be in the middle of some song. He'll be like, "Wait a minute," and he wants you to start making up words to songs while you're doing it, and just writing your own songs. It's rejuvenating to be around somebody that loves music that much, though. Because I mean, all of us artists and writers, we do this all the time anyway, and we're all jaded at some point,
Yeah.
whatever. So it's cool to see somebody that I don't know, it fires you up when you see somebody that passionate about music, man. And
Yeah. It's the perfect music to play on the golf course while you're playing golf is some John Daly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. So when you guys are gonna, if you're getting in the car or you're going somewhere, say you're leaving the venue tonight, what's the first song you're gonna play when you roll out of here?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Unless I'm on some like buzz where I'm like wanting to listen to some old country kick, if I'm rolling down the road, I'm listening to like sports talk. Right?
Well, howdy, folks. Welcome down to Bad Brad's Barbecue. Hey, stop looking at Gus. Stop it. Stop it. All right, folks, you see here, Jagger's trying to throw some cornhole, and he just can't get her done.
I just cannot hit anything today.
I see that, Jagger.
Man, you gotta have some bad brags. Play that crap when you're hungry.
Vernon always coming in clutch with the barbecue. Oh, yeah, look at that bite, folks. All right, Jagger, let's see it. Look at that, right in the hole.
Bad Brad's, where you can't help but be good.
Like Jagger said, folks, Bad Brad's Barbecue, where it's good to be bad.
Hey guys, we want to tell you a little bit about Deadwake Archery Innovations. They got all kinds of awesome stuff. They create their very own custom designed CNC milled bows, and they do all kinds of crazy colors with the anodization. And you want to tell them a little bit more?
Yeah, so it is a Oklahoma State graduate. They're in Kansas, Oklahoma is where they're established. They do some great stuff, great killing machines for the water, honestly. And just go check them out. Thank you so much for Deadwake Archery Innovation for sponsoring this
Sports
podcast.
talk, or I'm in absolute silence. Like it's just, I mean, the reality is it's business phone calls, something 24/7. So if I have a chance of just no noise of any kind around me, I'm just
Savoring it.
Yeah.
I know my wife gets annoyed with me because we'll be on the road for 3 or 4 hours going somewhere or something. She's like, turn on something.
Yeah. You're like, fine. You pull up
There
your
you
own
go.
Spotify page and you just start. Like, I got to get these views.
Well,
somehow.
okay, now I will say, now I do. That's a trick there is put your song on repeat and just let it spin. I don't do that, Spotify.
do you ever listen to your own stuff, or does it kind of like bother you to listen?
No,
to
every now and then, because not like consistently by any means, but yeah, I mean, I like going back and listening and just kind of, it's like game film for me, man. I kind of want to hear like, where was I writing back then? How am I at now? And then I'll listen to something old and listen to something new just to kind of get an idea of where it mixes and matches and whatnot. But even more like when I go back and listen, if I'm getting ready to go in the studio, obviously I'm listening to all my work tapes and demos. So that's probably the most. Yeah. I just got out of the studio this week, so I've listened to a lot of me lately, and I don't want to do that much more.
So you're already back in the studio?
Yeah. So we, I had that deal with the Reviver, and we got this record out, but obviously I'm moving on independently again, and so this day and age, you can't stay silent on music long. So we're kind of getting a game plan in place to get ready to start releasing some new stuff after the new year. So yeah, we just tracked 5 songs on Monday, and of course got food poisoning in the middle of it. So that was really funny trying to deal with. But
that's not good.
What's your theory on like putting out singles versus dropping an album?
I think you do both, man. I mean, it's a singles world, so you got to do the singles. But I think it's good to package them all together at the end of the year, as a full record with a few new songs. It's kind of been our method on the last 2, like the Keep Up with the Cowgirl and the this new one.
Country Gonna Be All Right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the word, the title track I'm on record. I was trying to say Neon Town. I was like, not Neon Town. But yeah, we kind of went with that philosophy. For those ones, we threw out a new song every single month, and then had like a 2-month pause, put out the record.
Yeah.
So we're going to slow down on this, obviously, since I'm funding it myself now. But, I think you do need to give those singles a little more time to get traction and really promote them and do that better. Yeah. But dude, the music industry is just changing. I mean, everything you learned 15 years ago changed 10 years ago, and everything you thought you knew then, I mean, it's just, so you got to always keep an eye on where it's moving to. But yeah.
If you had it your way, do you put out an album every year, or is it just kind of whenever it comes onto you?
I think it's whatever flows you. I've had the luxury now of, you got to remember, I was in town in Nashville doing the Music Row game, so I wrote every single day for 11 years. So, I mean, I had catalog after catalog of music to pick from to just spitball songs out. Well, now, kind of at the end of the hits out of all those, and now I got to write them. Good grief. Write new ones or find the songs.
Yeah.
And, I just don't have the time to write like I used to. So, I mean, I think it's going to slow down just for that sheer fact, but hopefully I get to a point, too, where I can be like a Cody Johnson, to where, people are pitching you great songs, and you don't have to write every single one of them. But, I mean, I like the process of knowing that my name's on it, and it's something that I wrote that came from the heart. But it's just, I don't know, you kind of feel it. Because, I mean, even going to this session, I was kind of in a dry spell, man. Like, I'd be honest with you, I haven't written much that I really felt like was even worth hearing. But, we've had a hell of a summer, too. We had the van get hijacked and wrecked. We've been touring in a pickup truck. We had trailer finally it's just... Sometimes life gets a hold of you, man.
What happened to your van?
Man, we were up in Ohio. We stopped for a gas stop. None of us know exactly what happened. But what I do know happened was that there was about 7 crackheads hanging out at this gas station. When I came outside, the van was gone, and they were too. So...
Maybe you're going to be rolling in Ohio one day, and you're going to be like, oh, look, there's our van. There's just going to be a band of crackheads just playing some tunes on the side
luckily
of the
the
road.
van's out there. We just got it back. Fine. Well, we got it all the way back from that shop, and apparently they did something wrong, and it broke down. So then it was in a shop another 3 weeks. But it's out here right now. It's running as of now, I believe, still. So if it gets us back home tonight,
there we go.
We'll have a successful trip. But it's, I'm a firm believer, I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and I think that He's ran me through the ringer this summer for some purpose, or at least I hope so. Either that, or He's got a really sick sense of humor about me this year. But it's preparing me for something, and I don't know what that something is. But this has definitely been a summer and a fall I do not want to relive. But at the end of the day, I'm still here, and He ain't kicked me out yet.
Yeah. So, to get off a little bit off topic here.
All right.
But so one question I like asking everybody. I don't know why I came up with this question a long time ago, because for some reason we needed to have a reason to bring up Chris Gaines every episode. So if you had if you wanted to go off and do something completely different, and you had a alter ego stage name, what would be the name that you would go by?
I have no earthly idea. I don't even have nothing sarcastic. I was thinking I'm going to have something to fire off here real quick.
What genre would it be?
I don't know that I could do anything besides country. I think that's part of the reason with that is, my whole 11 years in Nashville, I'm being pushed away from doing country, and I'm like, I ain't doing nothing but country the rest of my life, so I don't even want to entertain it. I'd probably end up doing like a dusty, pure country kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But
that's a tough on the spot question.
Yeah, it is.
To have
It
an
is.
now,
we've had some good answers to that though. Like William Clark Green came up. He was like, oh, easy, Bill Grease, because all of his stuff is in his records are all called Bill Grease records.
That makes sense.
His own record company. So yeah, it was pretty fun.
Well, that's like me. You know, Byrnes is my company, so I guess I could just be the Byrnes or something.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, like a hair metal band or
Yeah,
something. there.
yeah.
I'll just be Mason Beard. How about that?
Yeah,
There we go. Yeah.
And huge shout out to Mason for hooking this up.
Yeah,
He's
man.
been awesome, and of course to Rodeo Nightclub here in Tulsa for
Yes.
letting us come out. You want to do one more song for us to kind of
Sure.
wrap things up here?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
I guess I'll make the call on this one because we
guess.
never really got to the point about the moving to Texas thing. But as I talked about, you know, I realized after that conversation with Daryl, it was time to do something different. And so ironically, right after that conversation happened, it was, you know, Music Row shuts down at Thanksgiving, and it's pretty much if you want to sit around and go to all the Christmas parties, cool. If not, just go home to wherever you're from and enjoy the holidays. And I was the go home and enjoy the holidays kind of guy.
Yeah.
And so I had one last writing session. I decided I wasn't going to cancel it. And I got in the room with Michael White, and we started writing Beer Bucket List. And I was kind of telling him about how, like, man, I want to get back to my roots, and I want to get back to who I was. And at that time, I'd found Cody Johnson that heard Me and My Kind, and just, I realized that the music I loved was out there. So, ironically, the version of the song we wrote that day was nothing like the one that we recorded. It was all, like, angry and about just getting drunk and telling people off and stuff. And my friend Jenny talked me into going to the Randy Rogers Wade Bowen show that night because I wanted to just leave right after that writing session and go home. And that was right when Granger Smith was coming out, or not coming out, but going mainstream. And so all Nashville, that's all you hear about is this new big thing out of Texas. And so the Wade and Randy show kind of got overlooked, but yet it was still sold out. And Wade gets up and tells a story about, you know, him and Randy giving each other hell about, you know, you've only had a 62, well, I've been at 60. Well, you're 60, I got a 59, you know.
Yeah.
And he goes, neither one of us have even had hits, and apparently we're not even some big deal according to the Music Row thing over here. We're not even the big show in town, but yet we sold it out. And that stuck with me so hard that you ain't got to be on mainstream radio to have success. And so that whole drive the next day, I kept thinking about that song we wrote. And the words finally came out. I called Michael, and we got back from the holidays. We got back together, and we wrote it. And this was pretty much what led everything that started me on this Texas adventure. You know, I made this record, worked with Trent Willman, did dates with Cody Johnson. Next thing you know, I'm out opening up for all these different Texas acts for like 3 months with them telling me, come to Texas, come to Texas. And so I did hit the restart button, and this was the first song we put out. And, man, it went all the way to #1. And
Perfect.
started this whole thing. So anyways, that was a lot of story for you, but I feel like if I was going to sing it, I had to at least tell about it.
That's perfect.
After 3 of the 5 of these beers on ice that were chilling in that tin can, started thinking about where I wish I could be compared to where I am. It hit me right between the eyes by the time I'm down the 4th. If I'm just living to work and working to live, then what the hell am I living for? I don't want to waste my time wondering what if. Regret someday all the things I never did. So right here, right now, it's my life to live. I'm gonna pop a top and start checking off my beer bucket list. I'm gonna take the cash that I put back and get that roadster running again. Take what's left and just head west and surprise a few old friends. I hear the Marlin are born to fight down off the Cabo Coast. It might just be a bunch of drunk talk, but I won't know if I don't go. I don't want to waste my time wondering what if. Regret someday all the things I never did. So right here, right now, it's my life to live. I'm gonna pop a top and start checking off my beer bucket list. Yeah. So right here, pop a top and start checking off my beer bucket list. Yeah, one time around, that's all we get. Let's pop a top and start checking off my beer bucket list. Pop a top and start checking off that beer bucket list. Yeah! Yeah, my beer bucket list.
Fantastic. What a way to end it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, man, thank y'all for having me.
We got to do this sometime again soon. We had to cut it off a little bit short today, but we'll have to do this again.
Hopefully we'll be back in Steely here for too long.
Yeah.
So we'll do it again then.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, brother. Thank you guys.
Thank you.